Hola clase, ¿cómo están? Yo espero que estén bien. Este lunes 16 de noviembre, this Monday, 16th of November. First, before we go over our grammar, I just want to go over the vocabulary with you. This is el vocabulario de la cocina. It says, ¿qué tenemos que hacer en la cocina? You guys have these pictures in your Schoology, your in-class instructions, so you can copy them down. But as you copy them down, I do want you to be able to practice your pronunciation along with me. So the first one says el horno microondas. I don't know any Hispanic that calls it that. We just simply call it el microondas. So you can get rid of horno. It does mean microwave oven, but usually we just say microwave. So el microondas. Repitan conmigo, por favor. Repeat with me. La estufa. El plato. El lavaplatos. Los cubiertos. El fregadero. All right, and side note, fregadero refers only to the kitchen sink. All right, the word for bathroom sink is lavabo. It's a different word for that sink versus the kitchen sink. So kitchen sink, fregadero. El refrigerador. Also, I'd like you to add nevera. Nevera. Also means refrigerator or fridge. La mesa. Las servilletas. El vaso. El comedor. La luz. Notice that luz ends in Z when you make it plural. It's las luces, right? CES, just like lápiz. And the last one is la lámpara. Right, so all those words you will be responsible for as far as vocab goes. Repeat with me as many times as you want. You can rewind and go forward. Today, vamos a aprender sobre tener que y deber plus infinitive right after. All right, so here, let me adjust this way. All right, here we have the verb tener. We already know how to conjugate it. You guys memorized it already, right? Tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, tienen. All right, it is an E to IE stem changer, but you guys just memorized it, which is awesome. Here we're talking about tener que, which means to have to, right? To have to. So tener que implies that something has to be done. Deber implies that something should or ought to be done, all right? Most of the times because of a moral obligation, but simply it just means should or ought. Both of these, tener que and deber, will be followed directly by an infinitive. So remember infinitives, right? In Spanish, and there's three different types, AR, ER, and IR. So, and they're not conjugated. So tener que plus infinitive, deber plus infinitive. All right, so when we conjugate this, tener que means, what the conjugation would be tengo que, then infinitive, tienes que, tiene que. All right, and then notice the change, right? We have E to IE, then in nosotros, no. It's just tenemos que, right? No IE. And then we do have it again down here, tienen que. All right, and these mean have to. So this would be I have to, you have to, he or she has to. All right, we have to, and they have to. All right, so some examples. Ustedes tienen que estudiar. You all have to study. Here's tienen que, and then your infinitive follows it. All right, estudiar. Ella tiene que hacer la tarea. She has to do the homework. All right, tiene que gets conjugated to ella. Hacer is the infinitive of what it is that she has to do. All right, the homework. All right, so tener que, to have to do something. It's really as simple as that. Deber is should or ought. When we conjugate deber, it is simply conjugated like any other regular ER verb. All right, it's not any different than comer or beber or dear Lord, I'm drawing a blank. Comer, beber, what are the ER verbs? What you guys know? Comprender, right? To understand. So it's just like any of those regular ER verbs. We drop the ER and we add our ending according to the subject. All right, so it should be yo debo, I should or I ought to. Tú debes, you should or you ought to. Él, ella, usted debe. All right, he, she should or ought to. Debemos, we ought to or we should. And then deben, they ought to or they should. All right, so again, should or ought to. It's going to be followed by an infinitive, just like tener que. So yo debo estudiar. I should study. All right. Nosotros debemos hablar en español más. We should speak in Spanish more. All right. So we conjugate it, then we follow it up by the infinitive, which, by the way, is going to be the rule moving forward. Anytime you have a verb that's conjugated and another verb directly follows it, the first one's going to be conjugated. The second one is going to be in the infinitive. So learning this rule for these two will apply any other time that you have a conjugated verb followed by another verb. The second one will stay in the infinitive. All right. This just means has to. This means should. Learning how to conjugate it and just getting some practice in the homework as far as how to use it should be all that you guys need. Any questions? Ya tú sabes. You already know.